Hello and welcome, this is HLessJon. I want to talk about some of the mods that I use to make my game more interesting, more deadlier, and very much more difficult in my opinion. So, sit back, relax, and take a look at some of the mods that I use. No Glowing Mines and Realistic Tripwires by Mr. Dave. This is actually a really cool mod. What it does is it takes away the glowing aspect of mines, and it can also, which is an option, make the tripwires much more realistic. So if you want a much more deadlier experience, this is a good option for you. Also, it goes well with my other mod that I wanted to point out, Click and Boom, aka Immersive Mines by Dimedius. What this does is it takes away the beep 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 beep. So instead you just have a boom. So it's much more like a mine than an actual glowing, beeping object that is easy to avoid. Unbogus Health Scaling by Lune. Really cool mod. If you want to make your game more deadlier and yourself a little bit more squishy, what it does is it takes the base health and converts it from 80 to 100, which sounds like an upgrade. But health per endurance point invested is 20 instead of 5. No bonus health from leveling up for the player or NPCs. There's no additional invisible bonus for endurance and player level. So you just have to base your health on endurance, and it does the same thing for your monsters. So your hit points and your damage resistance are really going to be the only thing that determine how many hits you have. You and the enemy. So it's quite an experience. I'd also like to point out there's a lot of other Unbogus modules out there that you might be looking at. This is the one that I use on occasion because I find it to be extremely effective at making the game more exciting. And my character ended up getting killed quite a bit. I haven't installed it on my latest playthrough, but I have installed it before. I'm holding it in the wings to see how things develop as they go along. Better Explosive is by Zzyxzz. I don't know how to pronounce that. This is an awesome mod. It gives you a whole bunch of different upgrades, basically, to your explosives. It gets rid of, or can get rid of, the trajectory line that you can add in by perks. You can opt to have that in or out, depending on how you play. And it does a lot of things. It basically modifies Molotovs, fragment grenades, plasma, Cairo, pulse, and nuke. But it also modifies missile launchers and fat men. It increases basically increases their deadliness. It also has an option so that you can reduce the amount of time in which your enemies will be throwing grenades back, so that they just can't chain chunk at you, and just a non-stop spray of grenades. So it's actually a really good mod. It makes the game much more deadlier with explosives, and something that you would have to worry about now. Finally, for this review, Adjustable Damage. Adjustable Damage takes the damage that you do and adjusts it. Not only does it adjust the damage that you do, but it can adjust the damage that is done to you. There are a whole lot of different aspects to this. You can customize the settings based on factions and things of that nature. So there's a lot of things that you can do with this. I use it mostly for survival games and only set the incoming and the outgoing damage. Right now I'm currently playing with 200% damage incoming and 200% damage outgoing. And you can check that easily when you go into here. The bottom menu will show you exactly what your current damage settings are. And yeah, so even though I play on survival, the damage is pretty evenly spread. Still, monsters are monsters, tougher than all get out, and I'm sort of weak. But it does give me the opportunity to put out a lot of damage that you wouldn't normally be able to in a survival game. So if you want to have a much more deadlier experience with the game, these are some of the mods I suggest that you use. Adjustable Damage by Track1044, Unbogus Health Scaling by Lune, Better Explosives by Zzyxzz, Click and Boom, aka Immersive Mines by Dimedius, and No Glowing Mines and Realistic Tripwires by Mr. Dave. There are other mods out there that change things and update things in the game to make them more deadlier, but these are my favorites. So, Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you around next time.